Hello, this is my submission for the 2025 Mental Health Innovation Accelerator CoLab Program. Before we start, I'd like to preface that this paper does cover some sensitive topics, specifically suicide and suicidal ideation. If that topic makes you uncomfortable or if you find it triggering, I advise you to take care of yourself and step away from the video. If you're in need of help, I suggest contacting some of the resources I've linked here. Without further ado, a little about me. My name is Ghazal, but I also go by Eden. I'm a second-year psychology major, double minoring in mathematics and biology at Toronto Metropolitan University. I'm interested in everything and anything related to psych research, and I'm very active on campus. So if anybody else at TMU is watching this, hello, come see me. I'd love to meet you. I'm currently the Executive Vice President of the Psychology Students Association, and in terms of research, I'm an Education and Outreach Associate for TMU SMASH, which is a student group dedicated for advocating for student mental health, and I essentially read research papers and write little blog posts about my findings. I'm also the Event Logistics Coordinator for Kaleidoscope, which is Toronto Metropolitan University's undergraduate research conference. Suicide is a serious and prevalent topic, especially in Canada. It's roughly estimated that around 4,500 people die by suicide every year, and for each person who dies by suicide, there are many others who have had unsuccessful attempts in ending their life. In response to this, there have been a lot of initiatives for suicide prevention, such as Gatekeeper programs or ASIST. The main philosophy behind these trainings is that communities can be more successful at preventing suicide than, say, the medical system. I'm trained in ASIST myself and have found it incredibly helpful. However, when discussing it with my peers, I found that there are a lot of cultural limitations in these models, considering that they were created with a Western demographic in mind. These cultural limitations can dull these models when applied to minority groups. With how diverse Canada is, you can imagine how adapting these traditional models is necessary. Here you can see the methodology of my study. It's a systematic review, which is essentially the process of synthesizing information from prior research. My focus will predominantly be on China and Iran, and I've made sure my inclusion and exclusion criteria reflect that. The expected outcomes of my study is identifying cultural limitations in ASIST and Gatekeeper models, evaluating the effectiveness of traditional suicide prevention models when applied to non-Western populations, and gathering recommendations for adapting traditional suicide prevention models. This will help crisis centers and pre-existing support systems at large to adapt their approach to suicide in minority groups. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation, and here are my references.